She whispered, "You're faking blindness during the ceremony." Grabbed my service dog at dinner, then blasted her phone light into my damaged eyes during the best man's speech. Her son hasn't spoken to her since. Hold still. Let me see if you can really see. The light hits. White. Hot. My vision fizzles like a wire burning. Atlas lunges into position, chest against my knees, shoulder making a wall between me and the phone. The best man stops mid-sentence. Chairs scrape. Someone says, "Whoa." The tent sucks in a single horrible breath. "Turn it off," I say. Calm. Because if I give her my anger, she'll call it proof. She keeps the beam in my face. Real blind people don't flinch. I take her wrist, gentle, unshakable, and lower the phone to the linen. "You're testing my disability at a wedding." Noah the groom doesn't ask questions. "Coordinator," he says, pointing. "Escort her out." That's how the toast ends. Now, here's how the attack started. I'm Mara. I live in the dim. I see light, motion, outlines if they freeze for me. Not faces across a table. Not the words on your lips. Blindness isn't a switch. It's a stuck dial. Atlas is my guide dog, not a pet. Not therapy. He is a medical device with a heartbeat. He finds doors, maps, steps, shoulders me around chairs people leave in aisles because they believe the world is their coffee table. He doesn't bark. He makes silence safe. We planned this night for ease. My cousin June loves me in the details. She gave me the aisle seat with clear space, tucked a water bowl beneath, briefed staff. "Service dog is working, do not distract. Do not touch." The coordinator walked me through the path earlier so my feet could memorize what my eyes wouldn't. Then Aunt Paula arrived like a problem with lipstick. Aunt by marriage. Loud by sport. She collects opinions the way some people collect scented candles, too many, all lit at once. Family script says she tells it like it is. Translation. She says it cruel and calls it brave. At rehearsal she patted her hair and called Atlas that sweet therapy fluff. "Guide dog," I said. "Same," she said. "Not." Eye roll so theatrical, it could have had its own program. Ceremony day is aglow. June looks like joy that found a dress. Music warms the air. Atlas goes statue still. Only his ears move. Tiny radars for my safety. I settle, hand on his handle, breathing like the internet taught me, for when I don't want to cry in public. Late, loud, perfumed. Paula slides into the chair behind me, leans close enough to invade a diary, and breathes. "You're faking blindness, right? You move too confidently." I keep my face forward. "Stop talking." She smiles into my periphery. People like Paula grin when you set a boundary. To them, a line is not a limit. It's a dare. The vows go clean. The kiss gets applause that sounds like relief. We move to dinner. A tent dressed like a fairy tale. Candles, small glass vases, the kind of light that makes everyone look kinder than they were in traffic. Paula is a person who sees a table and thinks, "Stage." She crouches without asking, fingers already aiming for Atlas's harness. "Let me take him out for a quick walk," she coos, pitched for nearby ears. "Give you a break." My fork meets porcelain. The sound is small, the meaning is not. "Do not touch my dog. He needs to stretch," she chirps. Tugging like tugging is a kindness. Dogs get bored. "He's working," I say. Each word a brick set neatly. "He is a mobility aid. You would not walk a stranger's wheelchair." Let go. Atlas anchors. Weight down. Eyes on me. A monument with a pulse. The tent performs a mass act of looking elsewhere. Paula laughs for the seats. "Sweetheart, I raised kids. I know how to handle a leash." "You're not handling a leash," I say. "You are ignoring a boundary." She stands, smile thinning, and stage whispers to her table. If she can see me, she can walk without the dog. The line is written to recruit agreement. It snags a few glances. It misses more. I tell myself she's done. Bullies prefer the easy win. But Paula is an amateur scientist with a grudge. She needs proof. She needs an audience. Toasts begin. The best man paints June's first apartment flood, mixing bowls as buckets, laughing in ankle-deep water till the morning. The room laughs with him, my shoulders drop. I remember cake exists. For 4 seconds, I forget Paula. A rectangle of harsh sun hits my face. Phone flashlight. Full blast. 10 inches away. Pain blooms behind my eyes like heat. Lightning bright. Sudden. Everywhere at once. My vision smears to static. I taste metal. The way wires smell when they burn. "Just checking," Paula trills, brightness sharpened to a blade. If light bothers her, she can see. "Gotcha." Chairs scrape. The best man's story chokes mid-word. My mother stands so fast her chair tips. Atlas steps in. Chest a barrier. Head tilted ready if my body tilts. I don't stand. I don't go for the phone. I take the wrist, lower the light to the table, and let my voice be the kind that makes adults stop. "You are assaulting me. Turn it off." She keeps the beam up. "It's harmless. People fake disabilities all the time." Noah's voice is a door closing. "Coordinator." 1 word. A point. No scene. Just instruction. Security moves. Practiced and bored by other people's entitlement. The coordinator's assistant who's been filming to log the speeches keeps the camera on because documentation saves jobs and lives. Paula laughs, brittle as spun sugar. She looks for her chorus. Specifically, to her son. Evan. 22. Quiet like the inside of a library. Good at apologies for messes he didn't make. Back me up. She orders. He doesn't. He watches me do the ugly cry that isn't crying, just tears from the body doing its autopilot. He watches Atlas brace. He watches his mother turn a human being into a science fair project labeled, My Hypothesis. He sets his jaw. A small, permanent thing. The flashlight clicks off. Air returns to lungs. So does courage. Escort her out. Noah repeats. Not louder. Not meaner. Just complete. Paula throws her hands up as security approaches. It was a test. She failed. Woke mob. The words ping around the tent, looking for purchase, finding only linen and common sense. The door opens. She goes, still talking. Because attention has calories. And she's hungry. Silence sits for a second like a stunned bird. Then Noah, calm as a metronome, takes the mic. We love Mara. We love Atlas. We also love common sense. Toast continues. The laugh is relief braided to approval. The best man finds his place. He finishes the flood story. He pivots to joy. The room decides to be decent again. I check Atlas's ears. They're soft. I drink water. I breathe for 4. Hold for 7. Out for 8. Riley, my cousin who wears earrings like knives, steps behind me and stands there, not touching, just there. That is how you hold someone without your hands. Paula posts from the parking lot. A paragraph about fakers and bullies. People not present toss her. Likes like confetti. Inside, the coordinator quietly says to her assistant, save the clip for the incident report. Inside, the venue manager whispers to security. If she comes back, call me first. Evan does not follow his mother. He turns off his phone and stares at the floor until his shoulders unlock. Then he walks to me and says, I'm sorry. Not the child's sorry. You teach with bribed cookies. The adults. The one that means I see it, and I won't unsee it. I knew she was cruel. I didn't know it hit like that. It hits like that, I say. And 1,000 smaller that's. He nods. I'm done. He doesn't define done. He doesn't have to. I can hear the door and the word. Here is what ableism looks like when it stops pretending to be jokes. A hand on your mobility aid, a beam in your eyes, a smirk that wants applause. Here is what ending it looks like. One sentence with a spine. A dog trained to be a wall. A groom who chooses decency over comfort. A son who stays in the room and lets silence be his first boundary. The venue files its report before dessert. June squeezes my hand between toasts. My mother texts proud 5 times until the word looks wrong and still feels right. The ache fades slowly behind my eyes. Atlas gets a steak on the way home because love is sometimes medium rare. And if you're still watching, take this with you. Seeing light doesn't cancel blindness. And asking for respect isn't drama. It's maintenance. Like breathing. Like blinking. Like saying turn it off when someone points a flashlight at your pain for fun. If someone tested your disability in public, what's your exact one-line shutdown? Drop it word for word. Security doesn't drag her. They don't need to. Entitlement walks itself to the door as long as it's being watched. Paula tosses lines over her shoulder like grenades with the pins still in. Mob mentality. Over a flashlight. I was helping. The tent swallows the noise. Plates, glasses, people, everything remembers how to be a celebration again. The best man finishes. The maid of honor keeps her speech short and warm. Like a blanket. Noah thanks the venue for swift professionalism. Which is code for, we're not playing with you. The string lights seem brighter. Cake arrives as if sugar can grout cracks. Atlas presses his head against my thigh. That touch isn't comfort. It's a system check. You good? I curl my fingers into his fur. Answer back. I'm here. He lets out a breath big enough for both of us. Riley slides into the empty chair at my side. No performance. Just presence. Water? She asks. Please. She swaps my half-full glass for a full one like it's an IV. I wanted to throw her phone into the cake, she says conversationally. But it seemed wasteful. A brittle laugh escapes me. It sounds like a window held shut against wind. Thanks for not wasting cake. Noah appears, tie loosened, apology on his face for a mess he didn't make. Mara, we filed an incident report with the venue. If you want to add a statement, the manager's on standby. I will, I say. My voice surprises me steady. Like a table bolted to the floor. Finish your party. It's perfect again. He squeezes my shoulder once, careful of startle. Your family, he says. Perfect includes you. The room's temperature shifts from shock to righteous gossip. I catch pieces at the edge of hearing. She really grabbed the harness? Who points a light at someone's medical condition? Evan looked like the floor opened. Is Atlas okay? He's a hero. Paula's husband, my Uncle Rob, materializes at the corner of our table with a face like week old bread. Pale. Tired. Collapsing. I'm so... He starts. I hold up a hand. You didn't do it. She's under stress. He tries. Then watches the words shrivel in the air. No excuse. He corrects himself, softly. I'll get her an Uber. She shouldn't drive. She shouldn't attend. Riley mutters. Rob hears. He nods. Something in him is bending. I don't know yet if it will spring back or snap. Evan approaches. Palms visible like he's meeting a skittish dog. He isn't. Atlas clocked him as safe long ago. I can send you the texts, he says. She's in the parking lot. She's doubling down. Save them, I say. For yourself, more than me. He swallows. I turn my phone off. I never turn my phone off. That's a boundary, I say. They don't come with fireworks. That's how you know they're real. He nods, a small, heavy motion. I'm sorry, he says again. And thank you. For not yelling. For being clear. It wasn't calm, I admit. It was controlled. There's a difference. Dinner resumes. The clink of cutlery sounds like the world deciding to carry on. The venue manager, a woman with a clipboard and a stare that makes nonsense evaporate, asks for a quick statement. We stand just inside the tent flap, where the music diffuses into the night. Atlas sits. Perfect. I describe the sequence. Whisper at ceremony. Harness grab at dinner. Flashlight during speech. She doesn't interrupt. When I finish, she says, we'll be banning her from the property. Do you need anything now? Ice? A dark room? I need cake, I say. We both almost smile. Inside, June spots me, and beelines in heels like she trained for it. She hugs me without crushing. No perfume cloud. Just warmth and apology and promise. I hate that this happened on our day, she says into my hair. It happened to me, I say. Your day can still be yours. She leans back, looks me in the eyes the way sighted people do when they mean it. I'm so proud of how you held your ground, she says. If you want a microphone and a speech, I'll hand it to you. If you want to pretend none of this happened for the next 2 hours, I'll play that game too. I want the second thing, I say. For now. Done, she says. Also, security says your dog can have a stake .5. I told them he's union. Atlas thumps his tail once. Like he understands contract negotiations. The DJ switches to dancing. It's a relief when bodies have something to do besides tense. I don't dance much anymore. Depth perception, and strangers' elbows are a dangerous duet. But I sway at the edge with Riley while Atlas watches our feet. Evan hovers nearby. Orbit shimmering between shame and new resolve. The night becomes small, nice things. Someone's aunt teaching kids the electric slide. My mother's laugh right behind me. The one that comes from her belly and turns me into a child who believes the world is fixable. Noah's grandmother ordering champagne like medical advice. The scar Paula cut into the evening doesn't disappear. It just stops being the whole story. At some point, my phone vibrates with a text from an unknown number. I didn't mean to hurt you. You overreacted. We both did. Let's be adults. Paula. The tone is familiar. The apology that blames. The olive branch with barbed wire. I block the number. I don't forward it to anyone. I don't craft a response that would make a comment section cheer. My boundary is quiet. Riley reads my face without seeing my screen. You blocked her? Yep. Good. Tomorrow, we make a list. What kind of list? The list of what we'll no longer let slide at family events. Starting with the rule we force the venue to enforce tonight. Don't touch the dog. The thought steadies me. I'm not a person who loves confrontation. I am a person who loves clarity. Add no testing accommodations to the list, I say. No clapping, no calling my name, no lights in my eyes to check. Add no ableist jokes disguised as concern, Riley says. And no Paula. I snort. The venue beat us to that last one. Cake time arrives. The song is cheesy. The frosting is perfect. When June and Noah feed each other sweet bites, the room cheers like nothing bad ever happened here. That's not denial. That's community CPR. After, Noah taps a glass. Tiny announcement. He says. We believe in second chances. We do not believe in first chances for disrespect. As of tonight, anyone who touches our cousin's service dog or tests her disability will be asked to leave. Immediately. No warnings. The clapping this time isn't relief. It's agreement. People glance at me without staring. Something shifts. Not just tonight. In the family's spine. I head to the ladies' room to wash cold water over tired eyes. The mirror returns a version of me. Smudged eyeliner. Brave mouth. A stranger at the sink says, "What that woman did." I would have thrown hands. I threw a sentence, I say. It worked. She's lucky. The stranger says, then softens. You okay? Getting there. When I step back into the tent, Evan is waiting near the flap. He looks younger without the job of defending his mother. She's texting my dad now, he says. Says the venue humiliated her. Did she mention the flashlight? I ask. No. He gives a small, almost humorless laugh. She said you lunged at her. I lowered her wrist to a table. I say. Security camera saw it. So did 50 people. I know, he says. I don't know what to do next. Here's something small, I offer. When people say, she didn't mean it, say, she did it. Intent isn't the bandage. Behavior is. He nods like someone handed him a tool he didn't know existed. Thank you, he says again. but it means something new each time. We make it to the end of the night without another incident. The manager hands me a printed copy of the report for my records. Riley escorts me to the car while Atlas does his small, perfect miracles, lining me up with curbs, stopping clean at every drop. The air smells like damp grass and frosting. In the quiet of the ride, my body cashes the checks, adrenaline rote. Tremor. Headache. That bone tired that isn't sleepiness. It's repair. Riley drives like she's carrying crystal. Home, tea, dog steak, she lists. Tomorrow, boundaries. Tomorrow, consequences. I add. She flicks on her blinker. Same thing. If we do them right. Morning has a way of telling the truth your adrenaline refused to hear. My eyes ache like they did burpees all night. Atlas noses my palm once status check, then kitchen. Riley is already at my stove making tea like a triage nurse. The house smells like mint and dog and the kind of quiet you earn. Phone on. Flood. Missed calls from unknown numbers. 3 voicemails from Uncle Rob. 2 from my mother, that say, call when ready and nothing else. Which is her way of putting a blanket on the world. A text from the venue manager. Good morning. We finalized the ban. Incident video attached for your records. If needed with police or family, we'll provide statements. I tap the video. There I am, in soft wedding light, doing the closest thing to violence I've done in public, lowering a wrist to a table. There she is, smiling with a weaponized flashlight. The sound catches Paula's voice perfectly. Real blind people don't flinch. I forward the clip to a folder labeled, Receipts. Not for war. For weather. Rob calls again. I answer. Mara. His voice already apologizing. I'm so... Before anything. I say gently. Are you safe? Did she drive? I took her keys, he says. She slept at her sister's. A breath. She's saying you grabbed her. That you made a scene. She posted about it. People are... engaging. Of course. I say. I have the venue footage. Silence. Then. Send it to me. I do. The 3 dots appear, disappear, reappear like he's typing at the speed of grief. Finally. Okay. Then. Okay. Then. I'll call you back. Riley places the tea in my hand. How bad? Bad enough for him to say okay twice. We sit on the couch. Atlas arranges himself with the sigh of someone who has seen things and still chooses naps. My phone buzzes with a message from an unknown number that resolves into Evan's name once I open it. Can I come by? I want to return something that isn't mine. Of course. I type. We're home. He arrives with a paper grocery bag held like a bomb. He looks like sleep happened near him but not to him. Hi, he says to Atlas first. Atlas thumps his tail once, a stamp of approval. To me. She asked me to bring you this. He sets the bag on the table and steps back like it might explode. Inside. A white cane she bought last year after a Facebook group convinced her, people fake with dogs but not with canes. A prop for an argument she wanted to win. She wanted you to trade, he says, quoting the word like it tasted bad in his mouth. Said if your blindness is real, you should prove it without the dog. I put the cane back like I'm returning an artifact to a museum. Thank you for not being her errand boy. I was for a long time, he says. I'm trying to stop. He swallows. I told her I won't talk until she apologizes. Properly. What's properly? I ask. Careful. Boundaries fail when they're vague. He pulls out his phone and reads from notes. She names what she did. She doesn't use if or but. She doesn't say the word intention. She doesn't make it about her stress. She promises not to touch Atlas again or test you or anyone. She says it in front of you and Dad. And she posts a correction to what she wrote. I blink. That's a graduate level boundary. I googled last night, he admits. And Riley texted me some scripts. He glances at her. Grateful. Riley shrugs like weaponizing Google is nothing. Do you want to read her post? He asks. No. I say. Does my mother see it? Does June? She saw, he says. She texted me, I hate this. Then she sent me the video. Then she asked me how I was. His mouth wobbles. No one asks me that when it's about my mom. How are you? I ask. He thinks. Not long. Honest. Angry. Embarrassed. Relieved. He looks at Atlas. And weirdly proud of a dog I didn't train. Same, I say. Rob calls back. His voice is raw, like he spent the last 30 minutes in a wrestling match with a mirror. I watched it, he says. Twice. He stops, breathes. There's no version where that's okay. There isn't. I agree. She wants to do brunch, he says. To clear the air. She said she'd apologize if you'll hear her out. No. I say. He's quiet then. Good. He says. Like he was hoping I'd say it. What would you accept? Not brunch, I say. Boundaries. A written apology that names what she did without the word if. A commitment not to touch Atlas or test disabled people again. A posted correction. And then time away from me. A long one. How long is long? He asks. Practical. A season. Riley offers from the couch. 3 months. Where her consequence isn't your emergency. Rob exhales. I can do that. He says. I want to do that. Rob. I say gently. You don't have to manage her alone anymore. Evan's boundary is not a betrayal. It's him choosing not to be collateral. Evan's eyes shine in a way that isn't a tear. It's recognition. He takes a photo of the notes on my coffee table. Boundaries list. He adds one in his phone. I will not translate Paula. If she wants to be understood, she will be clear. My phone pings with a message from the venue. If Miss Paula or anyone contacts you negatively about the ban, please forward to us. We'll handle. It feels like someone put guardrails on a bridge that always scared me. Noah texts a group chat titled Family Spine. Brunch invite from Paula denied. If anyone wants a recap, here's the link. He pastes the venue clip. People react with a simple emoji that means I've seen enough to believe. Within an hour, the family splits along 3 lines. Line 1. People who watch the video and say, "That's assault." They move to the side of the room where boundaries live. Line 2. People who didn't watch and say, "She didn't mean it." They prefer intent to impact because it costs less socially. Line 3. People who text me privately, "I'm with you," and publicly send nothing because they're scared of Paula's weather. I don't chase any of them. That too is a boundary. At noon, Paula sends a group text to me, Rob, and Evan. "I will apologize if you admit you overreacted. I was trying to help. It's common to fake with dogs because you get attention. If you're truly blind, you don't need the light off. Let's be adults at brunch, 2 p.m. Evan replies before I can. "Mom, that's not an apology. I will not be there. Do not contact Mara again until you can apologize without if and without blaming her. I love you. I'm done with this behavior." He hits send. He goes pale like he's just jumped into cold water. Then his color returns, slow, proud. Rob responds next. "Paula, the venue sent the video. You assaulted Mara. We will not meet today. When you can apologize properly and commit to change, we'll revisit. Until then, I need space." He turns his phone face down on my table like that gesture alone is a new muscle. Paula's bubbles appear. Vanish. Appear. A long message arrives. 4 paragraphs of justification dressed as confession. "I was drinking. The light was a joke. Everyone is so sensitive. I've seen people fake. You were rude at dinner. You grabbed me." She includes a photo of a faint red mark on her wrist as Exhibit A. Riley laughs once, a sound with no humor in it. I forward the venue video again, this time with timestamps. 04 Paula turns on flashlight. 09 Paula says, "Gotcha." 013 I lower wrist to table. No gripping. No yanking. Paula doesn't reply. She posts a new status instead. "Sometimes you try to help and people make you the villain." Comments pour in from her friends, people with names like Linda from Zumba and Cheryl who volunteers telling her she's a saint. Evan texts me a screenshot of him unfollowing. Then another of him muting her posts. "Step 1. He writes. "Step 2 is telling Grandma." "Want company?" I ask. "Yes," he types. We drive to Grandma's apartment, which smells like lavender and stubbornness. She's 90 and has 2 rules. Take your shoes off and speak plain. Evan shows her the video. She watches without pausing. When it ends, she sits back like a judge who's seen this case before. "She always liked a crowd," Grandma says. Now she can clap for herself. "Evan, you will come for stew on Sundays whether she comes or not. Mara, you bring Atlas and your boundaries. Rob, you get a key." Paula gets a door she can knock on when she's ready to be nice. We nod like soldiers receiving orders we wanted. On the way out, Evan says, "I feel lighter." "That's the weight of other people's consequences sliding off your shoulders," I say. "Keep it off." We stop by the venue so I can sign a formal statement. The manager hands me a folder. "Ban letter for Miss Paula," she says. "If she disputes with the credit card company or the couple, we'll handle. If she tries to enter, we call the police." Outside, under a clean sky, Riley squeezes my hand. "We're building a new normal," she says. "It's going to feel weird, and then it's going to feel good." It already does. I admit. When we get home, Atlas noses my palm again, then brings me his tug toy. A reminder. After monsters. Play. I tug. I laugh. I breathe without counting. My phone buzzes with one more text from Noah, the family spine chat lighting up. "For the record, Mara, Atlas is guest of honor at every event we host. Some people, banned. The end." The end of what? Not the story. The end of letting one person's need for a stage rewrite everyone else's script. When did you stop translating someone else's bad behavior for the room? What happened the first time you didn't? By afternoon, the spin loses oxygen. People who mattered watched the video. People who didn't became background noise. That's when Paula tries her favorite move. The faux apology trap. She schedules it like an appointment with control. A message pings Rob and Evan in a new group thread titled Family Healing. No me included. Classic. Rob quietly forwards it to me anyway. "Paula. I'm ready to apologize if everyone can be mature and not pile on. Let's do a small brunch at my sister's no dog so we can focus." No dogs. I laugh out loud, short, sharp. Eliminate the witness, the target, and the boundary she hates most. Riley reads over my shoulder and says, "She wants to reenact last night with better lighting." Rob replies before I can coach him. "No brunch. No conditions. Written apology first. Then time apart. It lands with the clean thud of a door closing. Paula. Fine. Drafting. 10 minutes later. She sends 3 paragraphs that look like an apology until your eyes touch them. I'm sorry if my actions made you feel attacked. I was only trying to help. I've seen people fake disabilities for attention before. The light was a joke that went too far. In the future I will try to be more sensitive, but you should also be more understanding and not overreact. Riley circles 3 things with her finger in the air. The if, the intention, the shared blame. That's not an apology. That's PR. I send back a template we made this morning. Simple and sharp. What an actual apology looks like. I did X. It was wrong because Y. I caused you Z. I will never do X again. Here's what I will do instead. Period. I paste a sample filled in for her convenience. I turned a flashlight in Mara's eyes and grabbed her service dog. That is assault and a violation of her medical equipment. I caused pain and embarrassment. And I endangered her safety. I will never touch Atlas or test anyone's disability again. I will post a correction and take a 3-month break from family gatherings. Rob reads it. That. He says. Send that. Evan adds. Also remove the phrase, overreact. Paula's reply comes fast, which means she isn't thinking. She's sparring. I will not call myself an abuser. That is extreme. I have always supported the disabled community. I donate to charities. You're making me the villain to score points online. I keep my fingers off the keyboard. You can't debate someone out of a costume they like wearing. Instead, I address the only lever we control: access. Me. No apology needed to me right now. You're blocked on my phone and at events. If you want access later, deliver an apology in the format above, and a commitment to consequences. Until then, do not contact me. Evan. Same for me. Don't text me unless it's the apology. And even then, expect space. Rob. Same. We'll be at Mom's on Sundays. You can write letters and put them in the mailbox. We'll read them when we're ready. Paula goes quiet for the first time in 24 hours. I picture her in a room, pacing, testing every handle. Control isn't a door she walks through now. It's a hallway with no exits. We print the boundary list and put it on the fridge like a report card we're proud of. Don't touch Atlas. Ever. No. Tests of disability lights. Claps. Calls. Sudden grabs. No ableist jokes disguised as concern. No Paula. At events for 3 months minimum. If Paula appears, hosts remove her. If hosts hesitate, we leave. If anyone translates Paula, she meant. They host her feelings, not ours. Riley takes a photo and texts it into Family Spine with the caption. House rules. Borrow freely. June replies with a selfie of the same list taped to her pantry. Noah adds. Copied at our place. Already told the group chat. Atlas is a guest. Boundaries are dress code. By evening, there's motion from a surprising corner. Grandma. She calls a no cooking family supper at her apartment. Her voice leaves no room for RSVP gymnastics. Bring takeout. Bring your own chairs if mine run out. Bring good behavior. We go. The living room fills with folding chairs and the smell of soy sauce. Grandma opens the door to each guest with 2 questions. Shoes off? Respect on? If she doesn't like your answer, she points you to the hallway to try again. People laugh. Then they remove their shoes and their defensiveness. Evan arrives without Paula. He looks lighter. Like someone rearranged his bones to fit him. Rob comes next. Ring mark pale on his finger where he's twisted it in worry all day. My mother is last, carrying 2 extra spring rolls for courage. Grandma clears her throat. Say your piece in 1 minute or less, she orders. Then you do something helpful like pour tea. Noah goes first. We don't uninvite conflict and then re-invite it with excuses. What happened was assault. From now on, consequences arrive at the same speed as behavior. Riley follows. If anyone feels the itch to say she didn't mean it, go wash a dish. Intent can do the plates. Rob takes his minute. He uses 20 seconds. I believed her because believing meant I didn't have to change. He says. I'm changing. Evan's turn. He doesn't look at anyone while he speaks. He looks at Atlas. I'm not her messenger anymore. He says. I love her. I'm not responsible for her. I'm staying in this room. Then Grandma. Eyes bright and sharp. In this family, she declares. If you touch a dog at work, you go home. If you shine a light in someone's eyes, you lose your audience. And if you want forgiveness, you do your homework. Class dismissed. Eat. Laughter breaks like a wave. Plates fill. Chopsticks click. Ordinary sounds knit the room back together. Mid-meal. My phone buzzes with a notification I don't expect. Paula has edited her Facebook post. The wording is new. Still defensive. But different. Last night I did something unacceptable. I used my phone light on someone with a vision disability and grabbed her dog. I caused harm. I'm taking time away to reflect. Comments off. It isn't our template. It isn't perfect. It is public. And it is a first step she didn't take for attention. Comments are closed. I show the screen to Grandma. She squints. "We'll see," she says, which in grandma is practically a standing ovation. Rob reads it. His shoulders drop a half inch. "Thank you," he texts her. Then he blocks her for 24 hours. "For me," he says. "So I don't chase this small good with big forgiveness too fast." Evan doesn't look. "I'll read it next week," he says. And for the first time since last night, eats like he's hungry. After dinner, Noah and June walk me to the car. The parking lot hums with summer bugs and neighbor TVs. Atlas finds the curb, the door handle, the seat alignment with the grace that makes strangers cry. He sits. He looks at me like, well, I say to him and to the night, "We're okay." On the drive home, Riley says, "Tomorrow we draft the pinned comment and the video description." Why? Because the internet will ask, and we can answer once, clean. We tell them what happened, what we did, and the rules we're keeping. No debate. No but what about. Just the spine. I smile into the dark. Pinned comment with a spine. She taps the wheel to the beat of a song only she can hear. "Also," she adds, "I put Atlas's steak in the fridge. He gets it after a victory lap at the park." At home, I set the folder of receipts on my desk and the boundary list beside it. Atlas curls on his mat with the contentment of a professional who clocked out after a big save. The house is quiet. Not brittle. The kind that holds. My phone lights one last time. A text from an unknown number that resolves into Paula's sister. For what it's worth, it reads, "I told her she was wrong last night. She didn't listen to me. Maybe she'll listen to consequences." "Maybe," I reply. And maybe is enough to sleep on. What's a boundary you wrote down and posted where you'd see it daily? Did it change how you enforced it? By morning the story had legs, but not the kind that run toward truth. If I didn't speak once, clean, I'd be arguing forever with people who like the sound of their own doubt. So we sat at my kitchen table with tea and a timer, and wrote the shortest thing that could carry the most weight. We didn't name her. We didn't litigate my diagnosis. We didn't invite a panel. We told the truth like a weather report. What happened? What changed? What will happen next time? Then we pinned it and closed the door on debate. Riley watched the cursor blink like a heartbeat and said, "There. Anyone who still wants an argument isn't here to listen." There's a special quiet after you choose clarity. It isn't peace. It's a room with fewer chairs. The comments shifted. Less. But actually, more me too. Strangers offered sentences like tools you pass across a table. The one that worked on the bus at midnight. The one that worked at a family barbecue. The one that didn't work anywhere but still saved someone's dignity. I read until my eyes ached and then I stopped. Boundaries on consumption, too. Rob texted to ask if a small meeting would help. Not a production, not a crowd, just a room with a clock and a topic. I said yes, under two conditions. The topic is apology or time apart, and the clock wins if anyone wanders. He agreed. He sounded like a man walking by railings he'd needed for years and only just noticed. Grandma hosted. She always does when conversations are heavier than people's arms. Her apartment smelled like beans and soap. She set 3 chairs in a triangle and turned on a lamp that made the room look honest. Atlas lay at my feet with the patience of someone who knows the difference between chaos and waiting. Paula arrived late, carrying paper instead of a performance. It made the part of me that survives on alert sit down a little. She didn't spray the air with perfume or smile like a dare. She looked smaller. Not because I needed her to, but because attention wasn't lighting her from the inside. She read, "No, if, no, but, no, I was just." She named what she did, what it was, what it caused, and what she would not do again. She said out loud that she'd posted a correction without comments, and that she would not attend family events for a while. She asked the venue if she could apologize to staff. She put the paper down and didn't reach for mine. I accepted. Not as a reunion. As a receipt. Consequences remained. She nodded once. The nod of someone who finally understands that sorry is not a refund. It's a down payment. We left under a sky that asked nothing of us. In the car, my hands shook, the way bodies cash the checks held breath rights. Riley didn't fill the silence. Atlas leaned his weight against my shins, the gentlest gravity. The next days didn't sparkle. They stacked. People who mattered watched the video or read the statement and adjusted themselves like furniture that had always been a little crooked. Those who wanted noise wandered off to find some. Evan kept his phone on Do Not Disturb longer than he ever had in his life and learned that the world still turns. Paula paid the venue for the extra security and the replating of the cake without a note that asked for praise. Rob practiced loving his son without translating his wife. He failed once, caught himself mid-sentence, and started over. I forgave that in the way forgiveness should work. Privately. And only when my shoulders didn't hunch to do it. Online, the comments settled into something that felt less like a crowd and more like a circle. People didn't argue about partial sight or dog breeds, they shared tactics. One woman wrote about a man snapping his fingers in her face on the train. She told him, "You're not a test I take." And the sentence tasted so right in my mouth. I said it out loud in the kitchen just to hear how it fit. Week 3. At the park. A child ran toward Atlas with both arms out like the letter Y. A parent reached to grab. then stopped mid-air when the vest came into focus. Neil, eye level, soft voice. We look, we don't touch. He's working. The kid waved instead. Atlas flicked his tail once. That tiny exchange felt like the opposite of a flashlight. Respect offered before harm. The family learned a new choreography. Grandma's door became a checkpoint. Shoes off, respect on. June taped the boundary list inside her pantry. Noah made a habit of saying consequences out loud at the start of gatherings the way you read fire exits on a plane. It wasn't dramatic. It was maintenance. A few people tried the old script. She didn't mean it. Riley handed them a dish and said, "Intent can do the plates." And for once they laughed and did them. Paula stayed off center stage. She volunteered for a class about accessibility at her church, and didn't post photos. She stopped sending essays. She sent receipts when money was owed, and silence when it wasn't her turn. I didn't clap. Consistency isn't a performance. It's a pattern. And patterns are built, not applauded. At 8 weeks I saw her from across the courtyard at Grandma's building, sitting on the bench with a book and no audience. She looked up once, didn't beckon, went back to reading. Maybe costume. Maybe practice. I didn't need to decide. My safety didn't hinge on her sincerity anymore. It hinged on my list, and the people who helped me keep it. By the end of the 3rd month, we took stock. Not a reunion, an inventory. Rob reported no new fires. Evan reported sleep. Grandma reported stew. Paula asked if she could apologize to Atlas. I said he accepts steak. We smiled. We didn't make a joke out of what happened to get here. I wrote a quiet update under the video for the people who had stood in my corner while the room rearranged itself. Not an essay. A note. We received a real apology. Consequences remain. Boundaries work when you write them down and mean them. The final test wasn't a big scene. It was aisle 5 at the grocery store. A stranger's hand rose toward Atlas's head on instinct. I said, "He's working." The hand paused, hovered in midair, then retreated. "Sorry," they said. Not defensive. Just corrected. "Good job, buddy." Atlas's tail ticked like a metronome counting us back into the world. That's what victory looks like in real life. One less hand. One less test. A sentence that lands before harm. And a room that knows the choreography well enough to dance around your edges without stepping on them. If you need something to carry out of this, it's not a speech. It's a list. Write it where you can see it. Share it with the people who will help you enforce it. And the next time someone tries to turn your body into their experiment, give them the only result that matters, consequence. The first time I walked back into a crowded room after all of it, I expected to brace. I didn't. Not because people changed. Because the rules did, and the rules were mine. Atlas took me through the door like he always does. Steady, certain, the quietest kind of hero. A chair scraped somewhere. Silverware chimed. Someone laughed with their whole face. Ordinary sounds. No spotlights. A relative I barely know drifted close. Curious eyes flicking to Atlas, then to me, then back. The hand rose habit, not malice. I said, "He's working." The hand paused in midair, corrected itself, retreated. "Sorry," she said. "He's incredible." And then she moved on with her kindness intact and my boundary unbled. That was it. No showdown, no speech, just a sentence that landed sooner than harm. It felt like discovering the exact step on an old staircase that used to creak, and now doesn't. 3 months came and went. Paula stayed in her lane. Rob learned to love without translating. Evan learned silence isn't abandonment. It's a tool. Grandma made stew like it could hold a family together, and maybe it can. People keep asking how I knew it was over. It isn't. That's the point. This isn't a story that ends. It's a practice that continues. Victory isn't fireworks. It's the absence of tests. It's the presence of rules taped to a pantry door, and people who help you keep them. It's the knowledge that if anyone forgets, the consequence is already written, and you don't have to raise your voice to read it. I still see light. I still see motion. I still live in the dim. But I don't live in doubt. Not about my needs. Not about my right to say no. And not about what happens next when someone treats my body like a question. Here's what happens next. The door. What's one rule you're taping to your own pantry door this week? Put it in the comments verbatim. Someone scrolling at 2 a.m. might need your exact words.